Hi there everyone, Mark from Retribution Gaming here, and I'm welcoming you back to Let's Play Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars. In the last episode we retrieved Pilgrim's Gem from Loch Marn, and we found a Templar temple, I guess you could say. We didn't do much exploring. We decided that we were just going to come straight back to Paris and converse with Nico. However, that's just where I stopped the episode, so let's pick up where we left off. If you like this type of content, please do consider leaving the video a like, and if you're not already, please do think about subscribing to the channel. But now all that's out of the way, let's get to it. Okay, so we're back from Ireland.
Oh, hi. I didn't expect you back so soon.
Well, you know, I left before we could talk about stuff. So, let's rectify that. Did I show her the gem?
Do you want to look after the gem?
No, Georges. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
Fair enough then. I mean, she is a struggling photographer after all. What about the manuscript?
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Is there anything new that we can talk about?
That's the tripod in the Croon Museum. That's the gem that Pilgrim found in Loch Marn. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has three hideous faces. The Knight Scroll bears a phrase in Latin: "Through my teachings, you will be enlightened." There's a guy working on a loom. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
Okay, so nothing new as of yet. Okay, let's, what we got going on here?
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, Georges.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh, well, did you find anything useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking?
Ah, so you're not doing anything right now then. To be fair though, you do work for a newspaper or a magazine, so I guess you must have other work going on, maybe, but... Oh, that's Khan, okay.
Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clown's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The second week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
Okay, so a little bit there. We haven't got anything else to talk to them about, I don't think.
I'll see you again soon.
So let's head on out. She did say, I think in the last video, that we need to go and have a chat with Andre. I think she also did say that it's probably a good idea to pop into the police station as well. So I think we're going to do that first before we go to the museum. So, yeah. Let's have a chat with the gendarmerie. I mean, we're here, it's not far. So, the poste du police. Hi there, Sergeant Moo. Hi, Sergeant.
Excuse me?
What do you want now?
Right, probably not a good idea to show him the gem.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Oh, that's
Yes.
Marquet.
He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
Okay. Jacques Marquet was the guy that Sean Fitzgerald was due to meet to give him the gem. We've kind of intercepted it.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic in the Avenue des Hérissons.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lawns.
Maybe. Thank you, Sergeant Moo. Okay, now what about these two clowns?
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a weasel. Their names are Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
Ah, you're familiar with these two miscreants, are you, Sergeant Moo?
What are you going to do about Flap and Guido, Sergeant?
I'm going to bust them, monsieur. For years I have been hoping to pin something on that pair. Now's my chance. I'll show them. And the inspector.
Thanks, Sergeant. Thanks for taking me seriously.
I'm only doing my duty, monsieur.
Okay, speaking of the inspector, I don't know if we've got anything to talk to him about, to be honest with you, but we'll have a chat anyway.
Is Rosso here?
Yes, he is. You wish to speak to him?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
One moment, monsieur.
Even a small snippet of information might be useful.
It's Stobart, monsieur. He insists on talking to you again.
Thank you, Moo. What now, monsieur?
Oh, we can talk about some things. Okay, what do you know about Jacques Marquet?
Ever heard of a guy called Marquet? Jacques Marquet?
Marquet. I know the name well. He has a record for suspected blackmail, kidnapping, arson, and art theft.
An all-rounder, huh? How come he's on the loose?
His bravado is matched only by the courtroom skills of his attorney.
I guess that's the way, eh? He's got quite a rap sheet, this Marquet. Okay. Let's talk about Flap and Guido.
Do you know a pair of thugs called Flap and Guido?
I have known those two since they graduated from special school. Flap is a nasty piece of work, but Guido is the real brains of the partnership. Where did you hear of them?
I met them out front of the Hotel Ubu.
Yeah, well, they kind of assaulted me outside the hotel. Okay, Professor Pegram.
Have you heard of Professor Pegram, the archaeologist?
Molly Pegram, the second son of Lord Barclay Pegram.
I don't know. I only read about him in a magazine.
So much for the efficacy of rehabilitation. What has he done this time?
He made an important archaeological find in Ireland.
Yeah, he kind of discovered a brilliant diamond, I think. I don't know, it's a gemstone of some description, and also found a Templar temple, I guess.
Do you know Pegram well?
I have connections with the family, but I wouldn't say I knew him at all.
Is his name really Molly?
Of course not. That was the nickname he was given at school. All his friends and acquaintances know him as Molly.
Huh, Molly Pegram, eh? Well, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think we need to show him the gem either, to be honest with you. So I guess that's all we've got to say to these guys.
So long, Inspector.
We did find out where Marquet is being treated, though. But we're still going to go to the museum first, I think. I don't think that hospital's going anywhere. So, yep, there it is, l'hôpital. So we're going to head on over to the museum, the Musée Clun. Musée Clun. I apologise for my French accent there. I can't do pronunciations very well. I can barely do it in English, as you can tell. Anytime I speak with I speak a foreign language, which I don't do very often, I speak it with this accent. So yeah, if I try and, speak French, Musée Clun, Yeah. Je m'appelle Marc. But yeah, so I won't be doing any pronunciations or trying to say things in foreign languages, just so that I, don't offend anybody who may or may not be listening. Okay, so museum. We have this fella. Let's have a chat with him.
I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Okay, let's leave that for the moment. We'll talk about the manuscript first.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
It seems like this guy is he knows about the Templars, so let's talk to him about them.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez.
Okay, let's continue.
How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, André.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
It does seem like the Templars are this guy's specialist subject. However, come on, George. I mean, we could have worked that out, really, couldn't we? I mean, even I knew that. So, anyways, let's keep going.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Huh. It's funny how that happens, eh?
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Well, yeah, they kind of went underground, didn't they? And didn't they change their name to Abstergo? Well, I might be getting a little bit confused. It's been a while since I last played those games. Might have to play them again at some point, to be honest with you. Fantastic series. But we're not worried about that right now. Okay, still gonna leave this for a little bit, and
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Maybe it was my imagination, but I noticed a predatory look in his eye. Suddenly, this friendly historian had turned into the big bad wolf.
Yeah, he is a bit of a slimy character. But anyway.
This friend who has the manuscript,
Ah oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess, so much for asking her first. But yeah, I guess Andre and Nico are old friends. So, yeah, anyways. What's this then?
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived.
Ah, so you're up on the, what's going on with Professor Pegram, are you?
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
The second week of July?
Maybe. Yes, it was, just before Bastille Day.
So Pegram was in Paris at the same time as the other victims.
Pardon? Victims of what?
Nothing. Just thinking aloud.
Huh. Okay, that's something to think about. Back to Montfaucon then.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Aha, okay. Well, that'll make investigating it quite tricky. Do you know this man?
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Okay, fair enough. That's nice and simple. I don't think we need to tell him anything else. Or show him anything else.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, let's have a look at this.
As I reached
yes.
toward the display case, a shrill piping filled the air. I froze, then tried to get myself together and act nonchalantly.
Eh, no! No, monsieur. No.
What's wrong?
You must not handle the exhibits.
I'm sorry.
Now, what did I tell you about touching the exhibits?
Was it you can touch all you want so long as your hands are clean?
Not quite, monsieur. It was do not touch, not ever.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Okay, right, fine. Okay, I think we looked at this already, didn't we? And it said that's how we figured out about Lochmarn. Now, we need to do something sneaky here. I think we can do it now. It involves opening this window.
The rod turned smoothly, and the window above me opened.
And then we need to open the sarcophagus. And we can sneak inside.
This is ridiculous. I could be here for hours.
Okay, maybe we don't have to do that just yet. But we do have to do that at some point later on. Okay, so let's head on out then. We'll I think we've done all that we can do here for the moment. We'll have a word. Well, I say have a word. We'll head on down to the hospital. Montfaucon's on there now. We're not going to go there just yet, though. I don't think. Go to the hospital.
The old building managed to retain some of its original grandeur, but the modern additions look like a baseball cap on a statue of a medieval saint.
I mean, I don't know. It looks nice. I've seen worse looking modern buildings, to be honest with you. The glass frontage isn't too bad.
I felt a little guilty as I tried the door, like I was about to rob a grave. I gripped the handle with an involuntary tremble in my hand and pulled. The door was locked.
Yeah, probably a good thing. George, we don't want to be going around stealing ambulance supplies now, do we? Okie dokie. Right, who are you? Do we want to talk to a doctor first, or do we... Well, I think it's probably customary we talk to the receptionist first. So let's have a chat with the receptionist. It's a nice looking hospital, though.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Oh, the plans. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature. How may I help you?
We are here to talk about Jacques Marquet.
I'm here to see Jacques Marquet.
Oh, yes. Are you related to our client, sir?
I don't know how I'd be able to prove it to say that I was, so I'm just going to tell the truth and say no.
No, I'm conducting a private investigation.
Then I can't help you.
Okay then.
Has Marquet had a visit from a pair of gangsters?
I should hope not. Can you describe them?
A thin guy who looks like a weasel and his friend, the gorilla.
Sounds as if they escaped from a zoo.
Fair enough.
Has Marquet been visited by a man in a clown costume?
Oh, no.
You haven't seen a man in disguise?
Well, there's Theodore the bear. He comes every Thursday to entertain the children. Personally, I think he scares them half to death in that crummy old bear suit. If I was stuck on my back with tubes in every orifice, he's the last person I'd want to see.
Fair enough.
So, do I get to see Marquet before the funeral?
That attitude will get you nowhere. My instructions were quite clear. No one gets to see Marquet. So unless you can prove you're a relative or a close acquaintance, you're wasting your time here.
Uh-huh. Okay. That's interesting. Nobody gets to see Marquet. What if I show a card? I mean, this was Khan's card. And he is going by the name Thomas Gruber, so...
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for
no,
you.
Thomas
For me?
Merlin, sorry.
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see. He was on ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh, dear. He's on ward J2. That's... Nurse Grendel's ward.
Is that a bad thing?
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movement, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
Okay.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
Oh, you mean she's been here a long time?
No, I mean there's not a man in this clinic who hasn't sprawled out on her.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J.
Okay. Anything
How do I
else?
find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
Okay. Thanks for your help.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
That's exactly what I just said. Let's go and investigate that first. We can talk to these guys in a minute.
As I turned the corner, I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors. It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
I mean, he's not just odd looking. Let's have a chat with him.
Hello.
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
It's a deal.
Okay.
Do you know a nurse called Grendel?
Sure I do.
Is she on duty today?
Yeah. End of the corridor, ward J2.
Okay.
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the corridors?
No, sir, I haven't. But I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would. With a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
Polishing machine?
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you?
No, I
don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind my back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull through.
Whatever you've got with this metal mop foot is probably a fine and noble thing.
It is? Say, it's not every day I meet someone as crazy as me.
Okay. No more about the machine. What about Marquet?
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Oh, fair enough then. You know about the wards, you just don't go on them. Okay.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Now, we have to do something a bit mean here. Let's get a drink of water first.
Maybe the face of the unaccountably happy domestic had made me unduly suspicious. I mean, I knew it was only my imagination, but the water tasted, well, peculiar.
But yes, as you can tell from the cursor, we have to unplug his machine.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
Now as he's wandered off, we need to look in this closet quickly. And we can grab that doctor's jacket, which is going to be important.
Dr. Stobart at your service.
Right. That must be Nurse Grendel.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Oh, hi. Is this Ward J2?
Yes, sir. The patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. Well, who's first?
Monsieur Croquet in bed 2.
What's his problem?
He's been complaining of loss of consciousness. You'll need this, Doctor.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks. Hi, I'm Dr. Stobart.
Hello, Doctor.
The nurse told me you keep losing consciousness.
That's right. I've had the problem as long as I can remember. It's a real out-of-body experience. Like death, but not so conclusive.
I see. How long does it last?
Just a fraction of a second, and then I recover.
I might not have been a doctor, but I was formulating a diagnosis all the same. This guy was nuts. I know exactly what you mean. It's known in the medical field as blinking.
Is it serious?
Of course it isn't serious. It's perfectly natural.
But just think, 2 seconds every minute. Why, that's almost half an hour every day. 2 weeks out of every year spent in total darkness.
I don't have time to listen to this baloney. Which bed is Marquet in?
He's round the corner, in solitary.
What's the matter with him?
I don't know, but the men who brought him in were wearing masks and rubber gloves. Hey, you're a doctor. How come you don't know?
We doctors don't know everything.
Then how come you act like you do?
Should I keep pressing him about Marquet? Maybe.
Has Marquet had any visitors?
Nah, neither have I. That's the worst thing about being in hospital. You feel like the rest of the world has abandoned you.
Well, you know how it is. Life goes on.
Thanks for those comforting words.
Probably, yeah, I was going to say, stop talking to him about another patient. Can we take his blood pressure?
Do you know what this piece of equipment is called?
No, I don't.
I do, but I can't pronounce it. It begins with an S, and it's for taking the blood pressure. I'll put the name up on the screen, but, yeah.
Well, goodbye and good luck.
Thanks, Doc.
Right. Okay, who's next? This guy's looking at me suspiciously.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarche.
What's his problem?
He's delirious. He just now came out of theater. He's recovering from major surgery.
I'll have him up and about before you can say, Lazarus, get out of your bed and walk.
Hope not, if he's just come out of surgery.
Hello, anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What's your impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
That was a bit creepy.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
Yeah, I guess. Now, what do you know about Jacques Marquet?
What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
Huh. Okay, I can see you're angry.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, Doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
If somebody's already told you there's no cure for what you've got, surely you should already know what it is. But anyway.
See you later.
Right, let's head over here.
Doctor,
What is it?
you haven't taken my blood pressure.
Okay. Oh, there's a gendarme sitting outside the door.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Right, now, we're not going to be able to walk past his bed until we take his blood pressure, and obviously George has no idea what he's doing. So, we need to get somebody else to do it for us. Now, this is why I wanted to come in here first, because we're about to now go and potentially find the person to do it for us. Head back to reception. Now we need to have a chat with these two doctors. Let's have a chat with this guy
Hi,
first.
my name's George Stobart.
Shout across the room. You could have approached him first, George.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Call me George if you like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's my name.
My name's Benoit, but everyone calls me Bunny.
Bunny?
That's right. I used to have this cute habit when I was a kid.
Keep it to yourself, Benoit.
Okay.
What do you know about this piece of equipment?
It's a device for measuring blood pressure.
Correct. You've passed. You are a doctor.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, miss. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean I'd get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Didn't think you did, Benoit.
Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
And no, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Okay, right, so
See you later.
Right.
Bunny's not giving us much help. Let's have a chat to this distinguished-looking gentleman.
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bunny, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him?
Do your own babysitting, Gramps. Who do you think you are, anyhow?
I am Felix Hagenmeyer.
And may I say what an honor it is to meet you in person, sir. You are on my medical wall of fame. Right up there with Pasteur and Leary. I look on it as a privilege, no, an honor, to look after your nephew, sir.
He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Okay, right, we don't need to talk to him
So
about
long,
anything else
Hagenmeyer.
now. We should have Bunny in tow now. Come on, Bunny.
Doctor?
What is it now, nurse?
Number 2 again. He won't tell me what he wants. He says he'll only talk to a man.
Do I have to? That guy's nuts.
Doctor, I'm surprised at you. There's no way to talk about our clients.
Okay, I'll see him. But I'm telling you, he's a hypochondriac. Hello again.
What's the problem? You've got nothing to talk to him about.
Do you know what this piece of equipment is called?
No, I don't.
I thought about giving him an electric shock, but I just couldn't do that to a sick guy. Well, goodbye and good luck.
Thanks, Doc.
What I need to do is give the blood pressure monitor to Benoit.
Hey, Benoit!
There's no need to shout. What do you want?
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something.
We want to
Hey, Benoit!
Yes, sir?
deploy him to this guy.
Are you ready with that pressure gauge?
Primed and ready to pump, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
That means that we're now free to investigate over here whilst Benoit does his stuff.
I'm Dr. Stobart.
Bonjour, Docteur.
Have you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How is the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Don't you think it's possible that the bear was a man in disguise?
Well, obviously, I'm not completely stupid. But who would go to the bother of disguising himself as a bear? It's not as if he'd blend in with the surroundings. I checked with base to see if any bears had been reported missing from the zoo or a traveling circus. They told me to sit tight until reinforcements arrive. I guess they're right. I'd be stupid to tackle a bear single-handed.
Okay, this guy's quite crazy as well by the sounds of it.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, Doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
Anthrax? Well, that'll explain the masks and the gloves.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks. Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, Doc.
So
If
can we
you
go
see
in there?
that bear, kick him in the nuts. Rather you than me, pal.
Shouldn't there be more, if he's got anthrax, more
Marquet?
protection?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lachmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the assassin.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster quickly. Tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
What, you have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them?
We've met. What about the Hashashin?
Is more likely to have followed Klausner. He'll stop at nothing to prevent the reforging of the sword.
And that's bad, is it?
As for Klausner, he has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear that...
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter! The door's locked. Help me,
Says
officer.
George.
Stand back, monsieur.
World's quietest gun.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah. Killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window.
Right. Well, lots of things to talk about now.
Have you found out any more about the Knights Templar?
Yes, I have. The guy responsible for their downfall was Philippe IV, the King of France, otherwise known as Philippe le Bel. Well, he is known to history as Philippe the Fair, but I doubt if the Templars called him that. I'm sure André will tell you all about him.
Okay.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Oh, we don't need to, really.
Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
Make a good point.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus Docteur.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again.
Right, so we have...
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rosso or Sergeant Moo? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
Well, we need to do something else first. Yes, I know this is a bit of a longer episode, but we didn't get an awful lot done last time, so I'm going to try and finish up as much as we can here. Right now, we are going to go to Montfaucon. No, we're not. We're going to go back to the museum. Because if I'm correct, we can finish up what we need to here.
You have left it very late, monsieur.
Late for what?
Anything. I am closing the museum soon. You wouldn't like to get locked in. I can tell you, not in this gallery.
Why not?
It is haunted, monsieur.
You don't believe in ghosts, surely.
Oh, yes, I do. 7 years ago, a lad managed to hide in here. He made a bet with his friends, I suppose. When I found him in the morning, he was cold as ice and stiff as a board.
Well, what was the cause of death?
They said it was a brain tumor. But on his face was a look of stark, desperate terror such as I have never seen before.
Scary.
Sounds like something from The Ring, if you ask me.
Forget it.
Right, let's have a quick chat with Lobino, possibly about Philippe le Bel.
Hi, Andre.
Get the info from him.
Hello, Georgie.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassins.
Okay, so that's where assassin comes from, the Hashashin.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legend surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
And cut off his... is it his ring finger? Thankfully, I think that was a process that died out relatively quickly. Again, we're not playing that game though. Let's continue.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
What can you tell me about Philippe le Bel?
He was responsible for the extermination of the Knights Templar.
I know that, but why was Philip so hot to get rid of them?
Mostly because he wanted to get his hands on their treasure. He had an enormous debt and a lifelong war with England to fund. The trouble was, the Templars were a highly respected holy order.
Okay, so he ran into difficulties.
If the Templars were so powerful, how did this Philippe dude wipe them out?
By underhanded, dishonorable means, of course. The Pope was Clement V, a Frenchman.
French, huh? Handy for Philippe.
Fate had nothing to do with it. He was Philippe's puppet, planted to further his political ambitions. Philippe wanted the wealth of the Templars and used Clement to get it.
Okay, so manipulating the Pope.
So what was Philippe's plan? What happened?
Sealed orders were sent out all over France, not to be opened until the appointed day. That day was Friday, July 13th. That's the origin of our superstition regarding that date. At dawn, throughout the whole of France, the Templars were arrested. It was the biggest bust in the history of the world.
Okay, what happened afterwards?
What happened to the Templars after their arrest?
Philippe was out for blood, so he handed the Templars over to the Inquisition. Not surprisingly, they confessed to a sensational and sordid list of blasphemies.
Like what?
Oh, the sort of things you read about in the gutter press. Devil worship, lewd sexual practices, spitting on the Holy Cross, that kind of thing.
Well, that must have given their lawyers some headaches.
Whether or not the accusations were true, this was not good publicity. Most of the charges were probably cooked up, but so were the Templars, literally. Hundreds of them were found guilty of heresy and flamed grilled at the stake. They died protesting their innocence.
Huh. Okay. Burned as witches, eh?
But surely Philippe had no proof of his charges against the Templars.
A man will admit anything under torture. The Inquisition fabricated some nonsensical demon called Baphomet, and then suggested to their victims that this was what they worshipped.
But they didn't have to agree.
The records show a Templar coming to trial with both feet burnt off. Fragments of flesh and charred bone falling from the stumps. What would you not admit to stop such torment?
So there was no truth at all in the Baphomet accusations?
Not a shred. Almost every victim described the idol differently. No, Baphomet never existed outside the sick minds of the Inquisitors.
Yeah, now that's interesting.
So Philippe stole the Templars' riches, huh?
Oh no, they weren't stupid. The king's troops marched first on the temple in Paris, then to the Templar home port at La Rochelle. There was no trace of the treasure, and the fleet of the Knights Templar had set sail.
Smart. Ran off with the riches, eh?
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point.
Okay, I think that's all we've got to talk to Andre about.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Nice try, George. Right, now what we need to do is the ploy that we did earlier. The security guard will go over to the window to close it. We can use that to slip into the sarcophagus.
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
There they are.
Hey, Guido! Look at this!
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
I'm going to do a quick save because we can do something here again where we can potentially die.
Oh, Guido!
What's the big idea, you dummy? Shine the light down here.
The mummy! It's come alive!
If that's a mommy, I'm glad I'm an orphan.
Yeah, there we go. And once again we get thrown in the river. So, yeah, let's try that again. I think what we need to do is we need to mess about with this
What the?
totem pole.
Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
That probably wasn't good. Oh, hello. Who is that?
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean
That was Nico.
it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod. Aren't you going to try putting the gem on the tripod?
I guess so. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
The gem fits perfectly, but what does that prove?
It's not in the right place. Well, big pockets.
Maybe the tripod has to be in a certain location.
There's nothing on the manuscript to indicate where, though, is there?
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
Okay. So some work has been done in the background. It was Nico who foiled the robbers, considering we had a totem pole full on our head. Well, part of one anyway.
Lobineau explained who the Hashashin were.
Yeah?
The cult of the assassins.
Oh, boy!
Okay. That seemed a bit insincere. Can't really talk to her about anything else now. We've still got the blood pressure gauge, interestingly.
I have to go.
Already? You only just arrived.
Time and tide wait for no man.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Now, I think we've got one more thing we have to do here. that is head to Montfaucon. Oh, this is a nice looking place.
Excuse me, officer.
And how may I help you?
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the so-so Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Right, well, that's all we're getting out of him then, I guess. What's going on over here? I think, for some reason... Oh no, okay.
Hey, you with the balls.
Oui?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers? Ah, their last Grand Master, Jacques Marquet, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow, you're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contre-gravitique aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned heads of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so. That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not.
Do you know what? I think I'm missing something.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
Look, a red nose.
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
No, if so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it. Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
I thought that I needed
Look,
to use the
a
nose.
red nose.
Oh, you say, Whoop-de-doo.
It didn't seem right to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Okay, I can't quite remember what it is we need to do here.
Hello again, officer.
Hello again, monsieur.
What do you think of the juggler?
Ah, he is excellent, most watchable.
But he's blocking the thoroughfare and obstructing traffic.
So? He is amusing. The traffic isn't. If he wants to block it, who am I to say no?
You're a cop.
Ah, oui. So I am. Ah, well.
So you're not gonna do anything about this guy?
No.
He probably doesn't even have a license.
Ah, a license. This I had not considered.
So what are you gonna do?
The instant I return to the station, I shall check.
Return to the station? Why not just ask him?
And spoil his concentration? What kind of a barbarian do you take me for?
Okay.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
We need to get rid of this juggler somehow, but I can't quite remember how we do it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to leave it there for the moment. We've got a fair bit done this episode. We've talked to a lot of people. We've stolen a tripod. We've watched a guy, well, spoken to a guy and then found out he got murdered by a bogus doctor. We've got a lot of information. So, yeah. We'll leave it there this time, and we'll continue in the next one. So please do join me for that, and until then, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye. If you like that video, please do hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It would help me out a hell of a lot. And click the notifications bell to find out when I post new content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.